Hello, everyone. Welcome to the February episode of Sell It Sista. Hello, ladies. I'm so happy to see you here. I'm Megan Bengtson.
Carri Owens.
Molly Amick.
Yes. So we are here to talk about relationships. And ladies, so sorry. Happy late Valentine's Day. But
and to our followers as well.
Exactly.
And it's the month of February, so it's all about relationships.
Yes, it is.
So anyways, we are here today at the Railcar, which is kind of I feel like a little hidden gem in Omaha.
Agreed.
Off of like 144th and Blondo. So they have, it's just kind of a cool, quaint vibe. They've got a killer happy hour. I am in love with their Thai pizza.
I'm all about the Brussels sprouts.
And I'm liking the brunch on the weekend.
The brunch. Yes, you love the brunch. So
we don't know. They got unlimited something, mimosas, Bloody Marys, but people need to check it out.
So definitely come check out the Railcar. So, like I said, let's talk about some relationships. What
We
you
love
got?
it. Probably not the kind of relationships you're thinking.
No.
We wanted
Because we know Molly likes kinds of
Oh
relationships.
yeah, because I'm so good at it. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, let's stay on task.
We wanted to give February a nod, but we wanted to talk about relationships in business today.
Correct.
And really, relationships are really kind of like, we think in real estate like we got a product or products relationship or a what's our product?
Well,
selling houses.
Selling houses.
Yes.
I don't think that though. I think people in relationships are our product.
Correct.
And
Yes.
a lot of people don't think that, but real estate is so much more than
Just buying and selling.
than,
It is
than
yes.
a product.
Yes.
It's people, it's relationships, and
It's being a connector.
I'm gonna read you guys this quote. I'm using my notes, but so Brad Sugars says, "Business is all about relationships. How well you build them determines how well they build your business," and this is so true.
I love that quote.
I know,
It's really
and
good.
I feel like all we do all day is hustle, and we're not out showing houses all day. We are out doing coffee, doing drinks, making calls. I mean,
We're popping by, dropping off little things, just making sure that the people within our sphere of influence know that we're thinking of them, and I feel like all three of us run our businesses fairly the same way of like, it is about we're a referral based business.
Correct.
And
All
that's,
three of us.
and that's where we really, want to shine is, make it an experience for our clients, just be that referral resource. And so we've kind of talked about, it's like, oh, do you need a plumber? Do you need, a locksmith? I mean, whatever it is under the sun.
Yeah.
Like, we want to be that resource where they reach out to us.
Because unfortunately, at one time or another, we need everything.
Yes.
So we do have a good base, and if the vendors treat us right, I'll refer them. I help build a lot of people's business. I have a tile guy that, like he told me, he has several jobs a year just from my referrals.
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't care if you're selling real estate, if you're selling a
Cars.
widget, a car.
Right.
I don't care if you're not even doing sales. Your business is based on the people that you know, the people who are referring you, the people who trust you, the people that you're seeing in your everyday life. I don't care if you're the pastor at a church,
Yep.
you're the baker down the street. It is the people who know you and trust you and the people who you are building relationships every day that matter to your business. So anyway, we're going to talk about relationships today and how they're the backbone of your business. And whether you're building, investing, helping people build something, sell something, I'll tell you what, in our market, and especially in this crazy market, and we talked about this morning at accountability, in this fast-paced market, it matters who you know and what your relationship is.
Right.
Because I'll tell you what, people would rather do business with somebody that they know than somebody that they don't know and trust.
Yeah.
Right.
So I have the honor of being able to serve currently as the Omaha Area Board of Realtors president. So that's not
down.
No. But anyways, the reason I say that is because, it has taken years and years of being in leadership and being active and being involved. And so as that position, like one of the things I have to do is kind of do an intro for the new member orientation.
Okay.
And I, stress to them so much. Get involved, get to know who you're working with on the other side. Because again, we need to build relationships with our clients,
right?
But it is beyond imperative for us as well to build relationships with our colleagues.
Correct.
And that's why I love having such a good, solid relationship with Molly and Carri. And it's just kind of one of those things where, when it comes down to contracts, there's so many right now in this fast-paced market. I mean, Carri, what do we have? Over 150 homes-ish, existing homes on the market?
Correct.
Yeah. With 3,300
realtors.
Yes, with 3,300 realtors.
Yeah, so that is just like, a minuscule amount.
Yeah.
Less than a tenth of realtors are actually busy right now.
Right.
Everybody else is out there hustling, looking for the next deal. So it's just scary when people get hungry, what they're going to do, undercut you.
Yep.
So you want to work with someone that's an expert in the field, has been in the field a while. Nothing against new realtors, but in this competitive market, your reputation does help in getting some deals together.
Well, it does. And so it's not uncommon for, as a listing agent, let's say you've got 5 offers on the table. All of them could look basically exactly the same for the most part. I mean, it may vary just a little bit. But I will tell you, as the client is leaning on me to give my expert opinion, it's like, let's say Carri submits an offer to me. And I know her local lender.
Right.
It's like those pieces and that relationship that was built with those things do actually carry a lot of weight in, what I'm kind of, advising the client. At the end of the day, client gets to choose whatever they want to.
Correct.
But it's just like, we are looking for the way to ensure people to get to close. Yeah. Like that's the, that's their end goal.
You want the most secure.
Yeah. So with business relationships, I wanted to talk about business relationships, vendor relationships, and customer relationships.
Yep.
With business relationships, I think there's a few people that you really need to know. So you need to know your lender. Right. So
that's also the importance of using a local lender.
Correct.
A local lender, maybe a smaller lender.
Yeah.
So now this isn't just the guy that you put in an application with. So take a referral, even if it's not from your realtor, this is a guy who will sit down with you. This is the guy who will text or call your realtor if the appraisal isn't looking good, if there's a hiccup, if we're going to close late.
Well, I will also tell you one thing that has catapulted, for us taking an offer versus another, these lenders are also taking the extra step. When an offer submitted, I've received phone calls, I've received voice messages, videos from them. They will text it to me, just also reassuring me, good, solid buyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yep. They've done more than just apply application.
Yes.
They've submitted pay stubs, possibly tax returns.
Yep.
They're verified buyer.
They may actually be a through underwriting approved buyer, then all that has to go through is pretty much house.
Correct. Yeah, we need an appraisal and a termite, and we're all good to go. But
check out some of our great lenders who have sponsored this podcast, including Jeremy Wilhelm, Fairway Mortgage. We've got some great lenders who have sponsored this podcast. Also, our title companies, they will pull just some title, make sure there's no clouds on the titles right up front. Know your home inspectors. I mean, not necessarily anything on the back end, hey, do me a solid and don't look at the roof. I mean, we're talking people who will genuinely inspect a home or even go through a house with you when you're looking at homes.
Yep.
So there are good people to know up front.
Well, and then I think that kind of goes back to what we were talking about a little bit before of us as the realtor being well connected and having these good, solid relationships where it's we're they've got a lot of history behind them. They know what they're doing. So, it's good to have that stuff set up.
Yeah, and I think it's so important, the three of us sit in an accountability group with a few people, but we also make it a point to volunteer in the community and volunteer in the industry. And we don't do that for ourselves. We do it so that we get out there and meet other agents.
Right.
I just had a deal in Millard, and I made a point to get to know the listing agent. And when it came time for the offers, he called me up and he said, you know what? I know you've been in the business a long time, and I'd much rather work with somebody that I had a 30-minute conversation with and I know and trust than somebody that I don't know who didn't take the time to present the offer and get to know me a little bit.
Yep.
So I think it's so important that people really are trying to get to know each other and be honest and transparent and really try to build some of these relationships in business.
Well, and that's trying to give your clients the one up. I just had a listing in Willowwood, which is a solid, starter neighborhood, 229, and I got 12 offers. 7 of the agents never even called or texted me that they were writing an offer.
That just
appeared in my email.
To me.
Not even send a text. Don't call and ask, hey, what's your seller's preferred closing date? Is there any kind of amendments that need to be made to make us the winning offer? And I was like, that is just crazy to me.
And it's very transactional.
Correct.
But I think it's so much easier in business when you're trying to build the relationship to get to the other side.
And 2 of them, I was thinking, you guys won't survive. They were poorly written offers. Not even, at the minimum, your agent should be sending a text to the listing agent to say, hey, offer coming. That didn't happen with 7 agents. It shocked me. And and then when I told them, unfortunately, they didn't win the house because you got to pick a winner. And they, a few of them didn't even acknowledge my text to them, but a couple that, but we put an unlimited escalation clause. And I'm like, this house will never appraise for $300,000. I can't sell it to you for $300,000.
And it's just a different way of doing business.
Yes. Correct.
There's a very transactional way of doing business, and there's a very relational way of doing business. But the relational way of doing business is the way that I think people who are people, and people who are going to be in the business a long time are going to mile strides down the line. They're going to be in business a much longer time.
We're going to be survivors. Because we're going to survive
survival of the fittest. You're right.
Survival of the fittest. With less than 10% of the agents having a listing, that's what it's going to come up to. So you want someone that's going to think outside the box and get the deal done for you. But, you can do what you want.
You can run businesses very, very differently, and there's not one size that fits all. Again, I think just for at least the 3 of us, because I can only speak for the 3 of us, we want that solid, lifelong relationship.
Correct.
And, and the other thing is, too, I also feel like in building good relationships, it's about transparency and honesty, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's just I may not always have great news to deliver to you. And so it's even with I maybe talking to a listing agent or, it just doesn't matter, but it's just the transparency of here's what's happening, here's what's going on, here's my ideas for trying to fix it. What are your ideas? Are there solutions? I mean, it's amazing most of the time if you can kind of keep, a calm head, that you can really figure these things out.
Well, and I think that helps you build trust with your clients. And you know what, if we're going to talk about customers, I think that going back to building relationships with customers, that is a great segue, how to build the foundation and build your relationship with customers, because building that foundation is the best way to build trust with your customers. And when you do that, you will have a client for life. They will refer you, and that is how you build your business.
Well, and then I think this is also just, teaching clients where, I do a lot of monthly pop buys, sending notes, calls, things like that. And, sometimes I'm getting people who are like, oh, Megan, we're not planning on selling anytime soon. And it's that's not even the reason I'm calling.
Exactly.
I just want to make sure all is good in the world. But at the end of the day, when you hear of anyone talking about real estate, I want to be hopefully top of mind where it's you got to call this gal.
So where do most of your customers come from?
We all build our sphere of influence, whether it's family, friends, kids' friends, all kinds of things. So my old neighbor, her daughter bought a house for me right out of college. She was a great girl. We love her to death. And I can now attribute 20 deals.
Insane.
That is
Brianna
amazing.
Hess, Yoakum, we love you. But then she moved to Florida on me. So
still doesn't doesn't mean that she doesn't refer
she will
you
come
things.
back. Exactly.
Yes.
But it's just like, she was my neighbor's daughter, and yeah, she babysat my kids a few times or drove them to practice. But it was just, she was a good girl. She had faith. Not all her deals were seamless, but she had faith in me. I was honest with her at all times, and we made it work. And she just keeps referring me. So I just love her to death. And I have a lot of clients like that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm buying this house. I'm probably going to raise my kids here, but I'll send you to my mom or my sister or my cousin or another girl at my daycare. So, it's just, and you got to appreciate them and follow through. And I think that's the biggest thing in real estate and probably all business is the follow through. Don't make empty promises and not follow through.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I think that, you don't have to be buying or selling a house to refer somebody.
Correct.
Agreed.
And I think that a lot of people think that, I got to pick up the phone and make these calls, and they're probably not going to buy a house because I just sold them a house. But that's not about what building relationships
No,
is
it's
about.
kind of calling to check in on the kids and seeing what's going on.
Yeah.
And, whether it's a phone call or even a text, because, so many people, they respond via text, and it's just like, I don't know, it's just a quick little check-in, and it's like, and I remember you mentioned this one time, it's like, when you drive around all over the city, like all of a sudden you'll drive past someone's house, you're like, oh, I have to call. And it's like, instead of kicking it down the line saying, I'll do this tonight, you're like, nope, you just pick up the phone, like, hey, Bob, what's going on?
I will send a text in a heartbeat. Or I'll hear a funny song, or I'll see something, or I'll see a pool, or I'll see a house that we looked at.
Right.
I'll pick up the phone and I'll be like, Jeannie, I was just thinking about you. Like some of my favorite friends.
Right.
Yeah.
Even when a transaction gets stressful, I will always tell people, like, we will come out of this on the other side.
Exactly.
Friends, I promise you.
Right.
And truly, I was just invited to a wedding with clients a couple weeks ago. And
nice.
That's the best feeling ever.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Like, I impacted their life enough that
I actually got invited to the wedding.
Right.
Yes, I watched them grow up. And you're just like, we
sweet.
made it through 4 transactions, and now we're friends. And those people refer you, and you've built a relationship. And I don't think it matters if you're selling real estate or a widget or
a car or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
care what it is. But it's,
Relationship is almost in every field.
Yes.
Doctors, nails people, everybody has to build relationships and perfect them. So we are just giving kudos to people that know that and appreciate that, because it can be a lonely world sometimes.
It can
and
be.
we all need people.
Yes.
And I got you, girls. And wine.
Yes.
Well, and it really is about trust. If you think about, my call about, who's your dentist? I just moved to town.
Yeah.
You're thinking, well, if I didn't trust my dentist, I wouldn't refer them.
Correct.
If my teeth weren't white, I wouldn't refer them. And I drink a lot of wine.
Well,
they're
they're currently purple now.
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about vendors. So when we talk about vendors, we're talking about plumbers, electricians, drywallers, and man, these people make the world go round.
Yes,
agreed.
And I know you sent out a text earlier like, I need a drywaller. And I'm like, okay, I'm not going to refer anybody that I don't know, love, trust, because your reputation is
And
your vendor.
I said, you know what? I give out a lot of referrals, and had an instance, I had a great electrician for a while, and then 2 clients in a row said, he never called me back. Do you have another person? So I'm like, you're off my list, going to number 2, because that I felt reflect on me. And I'm sure nobody's like, Carri sent me a loser, but I just was like, okay, they're not going to call people back.
Yeah.
And I understand everybody is so busy, because I had a roof guy, and he's like, I am 6 weeks out. And he goes, usually I'm not even putting on roofs in February, but this year I am. But he's like, I am 6 weeks out. So it's just like, just pick up the phone or acknowledge the call.
Right.
So,
and so it's just kind of one of those things. There's all sorts of different resources to also find these vendors. OABR has an amazing affiliate group they are ancillary services for realtors, and so they're always at the forefront to help and assist us. I'm also involved in a center sphere. It's like a business networking group where, so I'm just able to meet and network with a whole bunch of other people as well, and kind of just grow the just my vendor, my black book, whatever you want to
Right,
call it,
right.
of just people that I know, that I trust, that will take care of someone. And what I like about, like the affiliates or my Cenosphere group is we all have somewhat of like the same mentality of, it's like, we're here, we want a referral-based business. And
Right.
so, it's just... And I get it. Like, the trades are swamped right now. So it's, I try to be lenient. But, I mean, it's like, it's still kind of your reputation on the line a little bit, too.
Correct.
It is. I'm super protective of my vendors, too. Like,
Yeah.
I'm careful who I give them to.
Yep.
Like, I don't give them to anybody crazy.
Right.
I,
Right. Yeah.
I'm always like, I got a guy.
Yeah.
But I'm always like, careful about, because their time's protected.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes I feel like they're so busy, and I want to make sure they're going to work for me. I can't give them to everybody. But, I sit on my neighborhood's SID board, and there's a couple builders on it, a developer, and it's just been good to getting to know them because I'm learning more trades, more people.
Yep.
And the thing, though, I've been noticing is very few people, vendor-wise, want to do side jobs anymore. Everybody's doing it on the clock, 8 to 5.
I don't think they need to.
No,
just with
nobody
the amount
needs
of
to
work that's happening.
Saturday nights anymore.
But again, if
it's
you
just like,
give
oh.
a vendor, like, that's a very trusted,
Right.
So I also listen to Omaha RIA Radio. So it's a podcast for
Investors.
For investors. And it's so funny, like, listening to some of these investors that they have on there, because it is literally like, oh, this is a great looking house. Who's your general? And like, people are so protective of their really good contractors. They're like, he or she does great work for me. Like, I don't want to spread them too thin. But it's so funny because it's just like I'm more than happy to give it to you, but like they're super protective.
Yeah, but if you don't have a vendor, if you're a real estate agent, if you're if you're an investor, like, don't go to the Yellow Pages. Don't go to Yelp. Yellow Pages. That I'm telling you.
Boy,
how old I
it's
am,
like
but,
you just aged yourself right there.
What?
But ask a trusted colleague.
Correct.
Don't Google it. Like, ask somebody you know. Ask somebody who's flipping houses. Ask.
Somebody that just built a house, a neighbor that you saw, is keeping their home up nicely.
Word of mouth is so much better, and it is that warm referral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I just read a study, and I don't know who, where, why, but the younger crowd, the 30 and under, they are working by referral. They ask for referrals, they get it, where then I saw, it must have been good, I don't know where it was. Then the other thing was, if people make over $200,000 a year and they're over 55, they will open their mail. So those are the age group that you need to do mailings to.
That's a very specific study.
Yeah, over 200,000 and over 55 opens their mail. I have a daughter that had her mail shut off because she lived in a neighborhood with the huge boxes, and the box was too full, and they shut her mail off.
So I remember, Aaron and I, we were gone one time, and like literally the mail lady, she had like a garbage sack, and she's like, "You need to take this." I'm like, "Oh, okay."
So those darn millennials.
I'm turning millennial.
Apparently. I'm still a big mail person, so we're trying it. But it's just always good to think about relationships in their life. And we all love our families and love our children and love our friends. But in business, we got to learn to love those people too.
Yep.
And we do. And hopefully that reflects on the joy we bring to the table when we're working with our clients.
Yeah. I mean, take a referral, Google the reviews.
Right.
But
don't Google me, Carri Owens, because I have no reviews because I'm the worst.
Well, then we should talk to 20-some referral gal, and maybe she could put a referral out there. See?
I should. Brianna, I'm calling you now.
Yeah, let's get you some referrals.
Oh, my goodness. But no, it's,
well,
you know what?
Just remember, a handful of business cards is worth one great review.
Correct.
Yes, Brianna has. Let's tag her.
I'm going to tag her on this because she's the Instagram queen. But you know what? We appreciate everybody joining us in February. Look forward. We don't know what we're doing for March, but it's going to be fun.
It always is.
Yes.
So
join us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, anywhere you listen to your podcast, including Spotify, Anchor, Apple, or anywhere else you get listen to your podcast. We're ladies that podcast instead of ladies that lunch these days.
And we like going on location because then we have wine.
Exactly.
So whatever you're going to do, make today a great day.
We are Sell It Sista.